Hi YouTube. It's been such a long time. It's been about a year since my last recording, and I figured I have free time right now and it would be the best time to kind of come back to it and kind of do a video and you know just put myself out there again. So here I am back finally with a new video after a year. I do want to say that I'm super excited because I was able to see how many people watched my last video on do's and don'ts for to get the job, and it got a lot of positive feedback, and I'm really excited. And I thank you guys for actually taking time to watch my video because I didn't think so many people were going to actually watch it, but they did. So thank you so much. I guess if you enjoyed it and you enjoyed my advice, then here I go with another video. I figured what I would do this time is kind of look at some of the questions that people posted on my last video and try to answer them. Although I did try to answer the majority of the videos, the majority of the questions that was sent over. So if you didn't get a response, my bad, I'm sorry. But the majority of them, I'm pretty sure I got back to them. But they were pretty good questions, so I figured I would go ahead and share them with you guys. And so here we go. First question. Okay, so one of the first questions, well, not one of the first ones, but I'm looking at the most current. One of the current ones is comes from Marisa Dolan, and she is asking what she should wear to a retail interview. Now, this is for a interview in New York and Company, so she wasn't sure if she should dress up in work attire or if she should dress semi-casual. My response to her was that she should work in work attire. Remember in my first video, I did say that you should dress appropriate to where you're going. So for instance, if you are going to go to a Armani Exchange, I wouldn't go to Armani Exchange dressed in a suit. I would go to an Armani Exchange dressed with, jeans and a nice shirt. If I'm a guy, I would dress probably with a button down and a cardigan. If I was a girl, then I would do like some nice dark skinny jeans and maybe like a pump and, a nice tee and maybe a nice blazer. You want to go dressed according to where you are going to work. So don't get it twisted though. If you're going to go to a pink, don't show up in sweatpants. Like, just be realistic with it, You don't want to show up in a suit to a retail, a fashion company, because then they don't get a good sense of what your fashion style is, and they want that. I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my first video as well. Just like if I was going to go to an accessory store, I'm going to be, hooked up. Like, my accessories are going to be on point that day because I want them to know that I could hook myself up. So that was that. So good question, Marisa. What else? So this comes from African Goddess 707. She says that she's going to an interview with a department store for a seasonal position, but she does want to stay permanent instead of just seasonal. And she wants to know if she should talk about that during the interview or if she should wait for a couple of weeks. My answer to her was that when we hire for seasonal hires or, a temporary position or anything like that, I'm going to speak for maybe like 85 to 90% of us. I'm pretty sure that we have the intention of keeping a few of you guys, so it's not like we go and we hire all of you guys and then all of a sudden season is over and you guys are all gone. The majority of you guys are, but I will say this, a handful of you guys stay, because think about it. It's like an ongoing interview from now until January, and just think of it that way. It is really a 3-month interview, and you need to outshine everybody else, especially if you want to say. I won't say that I would mention it right then and there during the interview, because then, the interviewer might feel like kind of put on the spot. I would treat it as if this is a permanent job. I would show up every day, showtime ready. I would be on time. They're going to look at different things. They're going to look at the way that you interact with clients. They're going to look at the way that you interact with, the other employees. They're going to look at your time and attendance. They're going to look at just if you're an overall asset. If you're an overall asset and everything is great, then you should be good. I would mention it to a manager, a few weeks in, let them know, hey, so how many guys are you planning, to keep after the holidays? Because I really am interested. Or I would say something like, hey, so how do you think I'm doing? I know I'm a seasonal hire, but I've been here for 3 weeks now. How do you feel I'm doing? That way it kind of creates like, how can I say? It kind of lets me know that you're interested in staying. Because, sometimes people are only looking for a seasonal position. So mention it, but I wouldn't mention it during the interview because it might be a little awkward. So that was a really good question. So thank you. When they ask you, do you have any questions for me? What is the correct answer to this question? This is a good question. This comes from Janaira Carranza. Again, I hope I'm saying everyone's name right. This is a good question because a lot of the time some people feel like they have to ask a question to show that they're interested. Not necessarily. Be genuine. Sometimes you get the same questions like, oh, so how do you like your job? Or what's the day in the life of you? Or something like that. No, like be realistic. Like if you have a question, then ask it. I would say something like, who do you think what would you look for in the ideal candidate for this job? Or how many positions are you looking to fill? This is a perfect time to ask, how many seasonal hires? You can ask, how many seasonal hires are you looking to keep after holidays? Things like that. So make it interesting. Don't go with those generic questions like how do you like your job? Or are you going to hire me? Oh, this one, I hate this one. When I say, okay, so does anybody have any questions? And they go, yeah, when do I start? Funny, cute. Okay. No, be for real. Like, ask questions. Like, ask questions that you genuinely do want to know the answer to. But I wouldn't ask a question like, how much are you guys paying? Or how many hours am I going to get? You see, you have to be realistic, especially in retail. First of all, in retail, everyone gets paid differently, okay? It really depends on your experience, and just it depends on a lot of different things. The budget for the store and all this other stuff. So don't ask a question like that. That's the type of question that you kind of sit when it's one-on-one, not so much of a group interview. You don't want to ask those questions. It's just weird. This one comes from Kelsey. It's basically asking, I was wondering if you have any tips on how to sell something. For example, I just had an interview and they asked us to sell a toy, which I didn't do well, might I add, and I couldn't get over my nerves and I blanked out. Oh, Kelsey, I totally feel your pain, girl. Don't worry about it. Listen, interviews can suck, they really can. Sometimes, especially when it's your first few interviews, you get so nervous. Like, I've seen people like sweat, like sweat so much that I get thirsty. Like, I've seen people just completely blank out. I mean, come on, interviewers, we're humans too. We've been in that position. We all started somewhere. Relax, take a deep breath, go in there, and be prepared. So, for instance, I'm assuming that if they asked you to sell a toy, it was probably for a toy store. So, go in there with the mindset of all the possible scenarios. So, yes, they might ask you to sell this Barbie. You know what I'm saying? Go in there and sell it the best of your ability. Now, if you know nothing about this Barbie, you don't want to lie, because at the end of the day, a good seller is not someone who's going to BS someone into buying something. Be genuine about it. Like, if you really do know about the product, let's say, okay, hey, this Barbie, great. Yes, you know what? Yes, this Barbie right here, let's just pretend this is a Barbie. This Barbie right here, this is an awesome Barbie. You know why you should buy this one? First of all, it's a great price. It's $29.99. It's right now. It's on a promotion. It's going to be on every little girl's Christmas list for sure. For the price, you're getting a lot of accessories. She has different bags that she can wear. Her hair is really pretty. It comes with a comb, so your little girl will go ahead and she'll be able to comb her hair. I think it'll be the perfect little asset. When I was little, I had so many dolls like this, and I absolutely loved it. We have something very similar from, I don't know, Mattel, if that's how you say it, I forgot. But it's for $49.99. And again, you get just as many accessories in this one, and this one is actually on promo for $29.99. So this one's a really great one. Okay, that was the end of my script. So think of it like, I'm getting tongue-tied. Think of it as, if it's you, and if you bought this, and if you really do have it, maybe you really do have it. Hey, you know what? I bought this for my daughter. She absolutely loved it. I know that it's on like every kid's must-have list for the season, so you might as well get it now. Black Friday is right around the corner. I know that these shelves will be empty. Give it another 2.5 weeks when Black Friday rolls around. You should definitely grab it now that we have it. So talk realistic. Talk like you know what you're talking about. And if you don't, then you don't. Then ask for help. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so this one says, hey, so in your video you said what not to do when someone asks, why do you want to work here? But what would be the correct way to answer? What would you say? Okay, what would I say? So again, depending on the place. I mean, let's say it's somewhere I absolutely love, right? Okay, why do you want to work here? I want to work here. Let's use, for instance, a makeup store, okay? Let's say I go into Ulta and they ask me, why do you want to work at Ulta? First of all, I said this, I'm pretty sure I said this in my first video. Apply to places that you actually do have interest in, because let's face it, if you're about to be in there all holiday and it's about to be crazy, like it's about to be real crazy, you're about to be in there. It's gonna drive you insane sometimes, the amount of people that are coming in. If you've never worked a Black Friday, whew, prepárate. You are in for a good little surprise. It is going to be crazy. You want to make sure that you work somewhere that you actually enjoy. So, for instance, let's say me, I love makeup. Let's say I go to Ulta, right? And I go and I'm applying to Ulta. Why do you want to work here? Oh, my God. I want to work at Ulta because I love it. I love makeup. I am a client that shops here all the time. I know the majority of your brands. I feel like I already work here. You know, I invest so much time, energy, and money into this place that I feel like I would be great here. You know, I feel like I'm really knowledgeable. I can relate to the client experience. I'm very familiar with the rewards card that you guys offer. I'm already familiar with your return policy. Like, I'm very familiar with this brand and all the brands that it carries, with the store and all the brands that it carries, that I just feel like I would be a great asset to you guys. I feel like, you know, when clients are coming in and they're looking for that last minute gift for their wife or their girlfriend, I'm going to be able to help them pick out that something special because I'm so familiar with what you guys sell, you know? So be familiar with the store and what they sell and want to work there, because I'm telling you, it's going to show, especially on those days where it gets really stressful and you're like, oh my God, I have to work 8 hours. Yeah, well, at least you get to work 8 hours in a place that you really like, you know? Yes, a job is a job, and you only want to work there you shouldn't only want to work there for money. Sorry, that's what I meant to say. You shouldn't only be there for the money. You should be there for the experience and the growth and, you know, the relationships that you're going to have with clients and the relationships that you're going to grow with your coworkers and all that other good stuff. Another question that I thought was cool was, what would be a good response to tell me about yourself? You're going to get that one. You're going to get that question. A lot of people are going to ask you that question during an interview. And I'm going to say that your answer should be very short and very sweet. So think about it like this. It should be, first of all, it should be like less than a minute. And it should really just showcase your personality and things that make you you and what makes you so unique. So the way that I think of it is, this is really awkward. I don't know if I'm weird for thinking this. But the way that I think about it is like this. Think of it as if you are on a dating website or a social media website, and it has a paragraph and it's a little intro, and it basically says, you know, in a paragraph, which is 5 sentences, in a paragraph, describe yourself. So it should be something in a nutshell. Describe your hobbies, describe your availability, tell me about any past jobs that you had, why you're going to be such a great asset to them, what interests you so much in this company, what makes you you, you know? This is that 1 minute that you have to really showcase who you are. So think about it before you go in there, because 90% of the time they're going to ask you, so tell me about yourself. Most of the time, that's how they start the interviews, you know? And everyone's there like, think about it. You're a great person. Showcase it. This one comes from Jasmine. She's 16 and she's never had a job before, or she's never had an interview. And she was wondering if she needs a resume. And what to do if you don't know an answer to a question. Okay. Hi, Jasmine. First, okay, so you're 16. Let's be realistic. A lot of employers are going to understand that you're not going to have the most impressive resume out there. You're 16. You're just starting. So first, relax. Don't worry about it. You'll be fine. Excuse me. If you don't have a ton of experience or even any experience at all, what I would do is I would still try to create one just to show that, you know, I tried. So I would still start off with, you know, my name and my address and my phone number and my email and my objective. You know, I would still have a sentence there. I would put my education. I would put any extracurricular activities that I've done, any babysitting that I've done, and that's it. Something really super short and sweet, nothing crazy. And then maybe 2 references on the bottom, names and address, names and phone number. You know, like I said, you're 16 years old. They're gonna understand. And sometimes they're not even going to ask for a resume. You know, it really depends on the company. Some companies require it, some companies don't. But have one just in case, just to be prepared. You always want to be just prepared. And what do you do if you don't know how to answer a question? If you don't know how to answer a question, that's fine. Trust me. I think I prefer personally someone to, if you don't, let's say you don't understand the question, I would say, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Or what do you mean? Or when you say, what's my opportunity? What is that? You know, what do you mean by opportunity? So if you really don't understand something, ask. And if you don't know how to answer a question, that's fine. I'm telling you, interviews, yes, they can be stressful and they can be, you know, kind of like make it or break it. But trust me, when you go in there nervous, you're going to blank out. It's just like you're taking a test, in a way. I'm an outspoken person, but how should I answer questions in a group interview? Is it okay to just start talking or what? Okay, so being outspoken and, you know, being someone who is talkative and all of that is really great, because as an employer, I look for people like you. I look for people that are going to go out there and be able to speak to clients. You know, if you can go up to anyone and speak to them confidently, then you'll be okay on, you know, on the floor with all the clients and everything like that. So it's great, but you don't want to come across as too cocky. So being excited about the job is amazing, but being too excited about the job can look a little desperate, and or it could be too much. You know, it would be like, oh my God, I'm never gonna stop this girl from talking. So you don't want to talk too much. You want to talk just enough, if that makes any type of sense. I know it's a little hard, but you don't want to be the quiet one in the interview, and you don't want to be the one that just doesn't shut up, because I've gotten those, and sometimes it's like, wow, you've been talking for 5 minutes. I just asked you one question. There's 7 other people in the room. This is awkward. You don't want to be that person. The majority of the other questions, they're all pretty similar, actually. You know, why do you want to work here? Do you have any questions? What do I say to weaknesses and strengths? So you guys can also review comments for my last video. I usually answer them. So a lot of the questions are similar. But other than that, let's see. What else can I talk about? Okay, so that's enough about the questions from over there. I'm trying to think if there's any other questions that might pop into my head. Feel free to comment on this and ask some more questions. I want to make another video, not so much about interviewing anymore. I want to make another video, but I'm just not sure what. So if you have any ideas, shoot them my way. Like, I'll definitely make them. Advice on pretty much anything. I'll try the best of, you know, my ability. But that's pretty much it. So thanks for watching this video. Hopefully I got to answer a few of your questions, and talk to you guys soon. Ciao.